I got my robes on.
Come on, Sister Shirley. Welcome back to another episode of Seek Therapy Podcast. It's me, Jasmine.
In America.
And Jasmine Thai.
And I know what y'all are thinking. I know. It's okay though, right? It's a safe space for us to all acknowledge that we got to show ourselves some grace. We didn't record. It's okay. This is our first year. We just, we figuring out our shit. So thank y'all for understanding. And let's go ahead and check in. It's been a minute. I missed y'all. What's been our highlights? What's been our challenges? Okay. I was like, what's my challenge? It's kind of a deep one too. So Janae came home sick from daycare on the Friday before this past one. And so she got me sick and we was just sick. So Joe and I were switching off who was gonna stay with her, who was gonna go to work. But because I was sick, the first day we took her to my parents. So she was taken care of there. So pretty much she was like at home this whole week. So then on Thursday, we both were feeling like cool enough to go to work. So I took her to daycare and it's like been chill. I'm trying not to work too hard. The end of the year, it's very much so that. And I get a text, and I don't know if I shared, but my daughter's daycare is ran by my godmom, who growing up with, I was like her right hand, like we was always together. And so since July, she has been the only kid there. But I think last month or the month before, no, last month, 2 new kids came, and one of the little girls, I went to school with her mother in elementary school. So my daughter being herself, being taken care of by her godmom, great godmom, gets all the hugs and kisses and love and and so it seems like the other girl saw all that and got jealous of Janae, and so she deliberately scratched her in her face. So I got a text message saying that and freaked the fuck out. I freaked out because one, this is her first day in daycare. So now I'm feeling like setting it off. I mean, I don't know any other way how to say it. So my response was interesting because I had to gather my thoughts. Because I'm like, okay, where was you? How was this happening? Like, why? Like,
right.
And so she mentioned something about like, oh, I've seen them fight a little. I said, fight a little? What does that mean? And why is this my first time hearing about that? So now I'm just like, okay, I'm in my office crying. I was like, okay, I gotta figure something out so that I can be what I need to be right now. So that was a challenge. And then my therapist emailed that she has the flu. So I haven't had my therapy in 2 weeks. So, and I'm like, at least in therapy, I'm gonna cry. I get my cry off, I'm good for the week. So dealing with that, just brought up a lot for me because I do recall having issues with girls, growing up. And so I just wasn't prepared to be dealing with that at like a year and a half. She's not even a year and a half yet. Next month.
And you're saying fight, like that's a problem.
It is.
Yeah.
So I was like, the mom reached out to me. I mean, she's a first time mom, so am I. And the next day, Janae had anxiety. She was crying the whole way. And I'm like, thank God I'm a therapist because I was like, is your feet hurting? Like, what's happening?
I'm sorry.
So that's just been a challenge. And then I don't know how people just don't have therapy and just be out here. I don't know. Because I was like, Jasmine, I know. I don't know how you do it.
Barely.
I know. As for me and my body, bitch, I need to be tapped in with Jasmine. So navigating that was just like a challenge. But a highlight is that I had a meeting with the guy I was having issues with at my job, and things seem to have gotten better. He's been nothing but nice to me all of a sudden. I'm not going to put a question mark where God put a period. He gave me a little Starbucks gift card on Friday. So I feel like things are changing in a better direction because I had previously told my mom I didn't want to go back to that school next year if it was going to be like that. So I'm hopeful about that. And then I had Bamus yesterday, which was my tradition that I created in 2019. And our house was packed the fuck out, like packed out. And it just was so nice, like just good vibes, good energy, love. Someone that I work with that I would always hang out with. She listens. Yelena, hey girl. I invited her, so that was our first time like hanging out outside of the work environment. And so I was like, yes, we can do this thing called friendship.
Oh, hey girl.
So yes, that was nice. Yes, and these 3 weeks off of work, honey, I need it. She's about to get into some trouble because, but see, that's the thing. I'm like, damn, I had no problem leaving her at daycare in the summer, and now I'm like, maybe just for like a couple hours because I still want her to continue to develop, and be around other children. But when I said I was ready to go, I said, this may be my last message, y'all. Y'all be great.
Man.
Because I came here to fight.
Joe, you know where the bell money at.
Yeah, it's really crazy because you really have no idea what it is like until you are a mother. Because I was like, people be acting crazy, and then I was thinking about acting crazy. So
I can.
yes. But what about you, America? How's your last couple of weeks been?
Hey.
Well, before that, what was the conclusion? Because you told me that you told us it's the mom. Okay, that's great, but now what?
No, so she messaged me apologizing, saying she was gonna try to correct her as she can, which I get, but also like, have you seen this behavior before? Because if this is not something that you've seen, how you gonna correct it?
Right.
So they were supposed to be finding out about that. So I'm gonna touch base with my godmom and see what she found out. But on Friday, when she was all anxious, crying the whole way, my godmom has a like nursery for developmentally disabled adults. So they were getting ready to go to their day program. So she was like, you could bring her over here. She could just stay with me. It's right across the street from each other. So she's like, she could just stay over here and, I'll try and ease her in. So she was over there. As soon as she got there, she saw no one else was there. And she literally calmed down. So that's how I knew that it was the anxiety about that.
Wow.
And my baby's not scary. Like, she's a G and experienced anxiety. So she was able to spend time with my godmom, went out with her. She went over there to the daycare for a couple minutes and she was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't go to jail, so it's the growth for me.
Well, that's good. We love to see it. We love to see it. We're proud of you for not having to interact with the LAPD. So that's good.
Right.
Okay, and I'm glad that y'all know there's at least a plan in place, because what we can't have is her experiencing that, but also people scratching her on her face, because we can't be doing that. So
no.
Okay, I was just wondering. Shit been good. I had a birthday.
You did. Happy belated.
Thank you. So that was good. I am now 34.
Yeah.
Closer to 40. I'll take it though. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good. My highlight, I guess, would be my birthday. And that I'm taking off from now until off from now until the 10th. So that's nice.
What do that mean?
It's always some shit to do. So I still gotta.
No, but
okay, hold on. Let me edit. So I still got some administrative stuff to do between now and the year. Hell the fuck yeah. Because baby, I don't know. It's something about when I guess because I see people back to back typically, and like I don't have the mental capacity to type your note and talk to you at the same time. I can write, but when
I would do that.
I'd be like, bitch, I can't do both. So yes,
but see, I would just keep my notes general. So I would just have like a template and then just edit whatever we talk about.
Now I have that. So I've been writing. Yeah. I feel like I've been writing books, and I think that's because I come from the Medicaid community mental health world, and you gotta put every damn thing down to make sure people get paid or whatnot. So I'm still trying to adjust and navigate, even though it's been 2 years. So yeah, I got a little template. I got what I'm gonna use moving forward. And so I've scheduled for the first time ever. Typically I'm like, oh, I'll just wing it and see how it goes. But this time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be intentional with this 2-3 weeks off, because if I'm not, I'll find myself working the whole time. So I have like certain days where I'll be doing notes and finishing stuff up. So yeah, so those are my highlights. Challenges. Hell, I guess those are challenges too, to be honest. Being off but not really being off and trying to figure out what that looks like. The scarcity mindset whooped my ass a couple weeks ago. So I think I had a text y'all and was like, I be doing too goddamn much. And I was coming back from the week off for my birthday, and then I was like, oh, originally I wasn't going to work the month of December. And then when I looked at the report on Acuity, which is my scheduling system, and it was like, I wasn't going to bring no income in December, I panicked. And I was like, oh no, bitch, we got to go do something. And then in the middle of it, after I've already scheduled people, I ran the numbers and I was like, bitch, we really don't need to be here. Like, literally. We don't need, what are we doing? But at that point, it was too motherfucking late because I already done scheduled and rescheduled, because I was going to work 2 days last week, 2 days this week. And then I was like, no, I'm just going to knock it out that first week and then actually have a break. So yeah, so just still trying to navigate that. I think people think when you start making a certain amount of money that the scarcity and the fear and the survival just like turns off. It don't. So you still
Well,
have to learn how to navigate it and pay attention and all that good stuff. So that's been
yeah,
somewhat of a challenge.
yeah. I think for me, as far because we have these things at my job called acceleration days that everyone and their mom works, and you get paid extra money. And everyone was like asking me like, "Oh, are you doing the accelerate?" No, immediately not. I'm not coming up here. Y'all won't see me till the fucking January 2023. No. And they're like, "Oh, but you get paid so much." And for me, it's like, I don't care. I have a private practice. I'm gonna meet with my clients that this week, and then because I just use my private practice to pay for her daycare, and that's more than paid for. So I look at it like it's gonna come back to me. You know, I'm not gonna get this time back. I would rather take care of myself. You know.
And I'm trying to be one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been catching myself more often, but it's not before I pull the trigger. But you know, when you've gone without for a long period of time and you done been through the motherfucking trenches, sometimes it's like it's hard to forget that you can take your armor off because like bitch, you safe and good. So I mostly still operate like that, at least when it comes to making money. Because baby gonna spend. Okay, and baby,
I am too.
And all that. And then I'd be like,
multiple Target trips.
I'd be like, wait a second. And I would be like, oh, shit. Oh, I need to go to work. And it's like, bitch, not really.
But it's like, It's
not
like,
really. You don't actually.
Yes, you need to go to work, but you don't need to be working just to pay off this. Like, you're okay.
So just catching that and paying more attention to that. My goal in 2023 is to catch it before, give myself more space there and be like, nah, fuck this. I said I was going to take the month off, so I'm going to take the month off. And actually stick to that. So, I'm still working there. I'm therapizing myself, child, so I'm still a work in progress.
Period. What about you, sis? How's your last couple of weeks been?
It's been good overall. We ended classes on Friday also. And yeah, I made it through my first semester teaching 7th grade. And when I tell y'all, it's something every day with them kids. Like every day. The crying, the rumors, the mental crisis. So yeah, like I made it through my first semester. And similar to y'all, it's like, I have 3 weeks off, but what did I do? Went and signed up for Uber drives just to like, so I'm not sitting at home. So I was telling my mom, I'm like, man, I'm broke. And I was like, feeling some type of way because like I can't get what I like, I guess ideally how I would want to do Christmas, right? Where you could just go on Amazon and just get what you want to get for people.
Right.
Tell my mom that, and I was like, well, like all my bills are paid, but it's going to be a light Christmas. And I was just like, meh. And she was like, you're not broke. All your bills are paid, and you just went on a weeks-long vacation. Like, give yourself some room. And I guess I was like, oh, well, yeah. But it's always that like financial foot on the back of your neck, especially with an independent Black woman, and you don't have, you know what I mean?
And like especially in this day and age.
Right. Yeah. So a big thing for me is like not being in my dad's pocket. Even though I, could obtain like, no, this is my household, my money, my decisions. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. We're gonna be okay.
It is.
Yeah. It is. So I think what it'll do is it'll give me also time to like get out of the house and be doing something. I've already binged one show on Netflix. I just got home.
Is it gonna be a new?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I thought it was, but I'll wait.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this time to reflect, to pause, and to really transition into this new year. It has been it's been a dark later half of the year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the new year and what it brings.
Yeah, new energy, new opportunities.
Yeah.
I sound like a Hallmark card.
No, but like all of that. And I'm like, ooh, say more, keep going.
Right, yes. I feel it. Y'all know that I love to put people into new things that I am reading, watching, working out to, listening to. So I want to get into new news. So it's been a while, so I got some heat for y'all. So did I tell y'all that I finished another book? I finished a book in 5 days. Did I tell y'all that?
Oh.
I finished a book in 5 days, honey. And so I want y'all to get into this book because it was points that I wasn't breathing while I was reading. And I was like, breathe. It's called The Therapist by B.A. Paris. The Therapist. It is just, it'll have you on the edge of your seat. And then, you know, the girl, SZZZZNNNNN, did what she needed to do, and she put out her new album, SOS. It's so crazy how music can just make you go back to, like, times in your life where you could relate to some of that shit. Because I definitely can't relate to none of it now. But I definitely had times in my life where I was like, yes, you know. No, I won't say that line, but you know, because she has a very questionable song, you know.
Yeah.
But it's SOS, and there's only one song that I don't like, but the rest of it is no skips. So pull up.
Put up on me.
What about y'all? Oh, Jasmine, what show were you watching?
I was watching Death Note. Everyone keeps talking about anime, and not anime who's going to eat the cake, but like anime. And so I was just flipping through Netflix and was like, you know what? Let's just see what this is about. It's on my like, you might like it. And I am with anime if the story is good. And this one had a good story. It's only 37 episodes. They're 20 minutes a pop. And it's a classic, so to speak, and everything. Netflix made a movie about it. After I finished it, I went and watched the movie, and I was like, oh, y'all lost me when y'all whitewashed the main character's name. His last name was Yagami, I believe. They're in Japan, and they named him Turner in the Netflix movie. How you go from Yagami to Turner?
What do you mean, how?
Like,
sounds about white.
Right, that part.
Immediately I'm over it. But Willem Dafoe was a character in it, and I like his work. He can get creepy real good. So yeah, so that was that. Give me a space to just, you know, what binge watching is good for, right? Just like not having to think about shit for hours.
I've been binge watching the worst of the worst. And I do mean the worst.
So yeah, so as far as books, I have 2 that I've set aside. Well, one
let me know
that I want to read. Well, I brought it home from school. It's Black Like Me. One of my students was reading it, and I was very like impressed. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this home with me. So I brought that home, and then I have
Is it triggering?
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I'm gonna refrain from adding that.
I just feel like, I mean, it's small, right? So I feel like it could be a quick read. I'm trying to, if I can get 2 books out for the end of the year, I'll be satisfied.
Yes.
For my cousin,
I have 2 too.
I was on a roll with my resolution for the year. The only one I kept up with was reading 1 book a month. And so since July, I haven't picked up a book. So I'm like, you know what? If I could bang 2 out before the year is over, then yeah, that'll like build that momentum going into the new year and everything. It's crazy. 2023, like, wow.
Like, bruh, I'm still trying to process 2020.
No, real time. So yeah, that's my new.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm gonna get into maybe the anime, so I could be like Megan.
Right?
What about you, America?
I just want to say first, I'm curious to hear, Jasmine, when you're done with Black Like Me, what your thoughts are, because I remember reading that a couple of times as required reading. So I'm curious to hear what you think.
It's been a minute, yeah. No, for sure.
Do you think it's triggering, America?
No. It's about racism and the thing. I mean, hell, which can actually be triggering, but no, it should be gone.
You know what I've been avoiding because I feel like it would be triggering is watching Emancipation.
One of my kids said they watched that. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. My mom said it was intense, and I'm like, And then I got a nosebleed watching 12 Years a Slave. So I always joke that it's like my ancestors came back and was like, see, now you understand. So yeah.
I can't take you nowhere.
Nowhere. Because what?
But I'm gonna end up watching it, but I wonder what's gonna come first, me watching that or reading this book.
I'm over the slave movies.
No, yeah,
I would like to see how they depict this particular story. But at the same time, I'm all for it. When this came out and it was like Will Smith's playing a slave, I was like, didn't you just you were And I guess now what? You got the Oscar, and so you are gonna make a slave movie. But I'm just, this particular story. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, I just choose to shield myself from Black trauma.
Yeah, I'm over it. I can see that on Twitter. I can watch how people are dragging the stallion if I want to engage in Black trauma or see. I'm okay. No, thank you. Right. But I hope you enjoy the movie.
I guess it's
shit on it.
No. Right, I did not want to yuck your yum.
No. I feel like it's a difference of possibly real life, current, live, which would be Megan's situation, which would be, the daily, weekly, monthly shootings and takings of Black lives. The, opening up your app and seeing a family man that dances and does his passion and is seemingly happy, decide to, snuff his own flame. Like all of that to me is triggering because that's that's real. So I guess for me, I would look at the movie as a part of storytelling. How would they tell the story? Because we've all seen the image. The image is triggering, because it's real life. But I just, for me, books and movies, I just look at it as storytelling. How would they depict it? Because they don't know his story. You know what I mean? They don't know his life. There's no way they could, but just how would they tell this story is my curiosity. But I'm with y'all on that. Like it's there every day. Black trauma on top of your own shit that you're trying to deal with.
Come on, right. That's why it's like I'm not trying to see this if I'm trying to escape.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah, because it's a
daily. Why, right? It's like this is my life. Like
this is my life.
And that's why I really liked that Intergalactic movie on Netflix, the animated Black love story.
Oh yeah,
because there was literally no like trauma at all. I was like, this is great. Love this for us.
Love it here.
My new is pretty quick. I got 2 new things. I got a standing desk. which is done wonders in terms. Well, I got a standing desk and a treadmill desk. So yes, I have a Peloton treadmill, and I decided to do this so I can keep the two separate. So all the notes from this week are all done because I was walking and talking and typing. So
great.
It really helped in terms of productivity. I think it also helped me move out some of the energy that I feel during sessions too. I don't know if it's unethical or not my problem, not my concern, but everybody felt good about it. Nobody had a problem with it. So it went well. So those are my two things. I think if you're struggling with sitting still all day, or you noticing that your body is hurting because of the things, like it's something interesting to implement and get your steps in at the same time. So I had my most productive paperwork week this week. So
that's great. How much was the little thing?
Yeah, drop the link.
The standing desk, I think would, let me see. I can answer that. I want to say the standing desk was $219.
Mm-hmm.
And the walk-in pad was $360.
Okay.
See why I felt like I was like, oh shit, bitch, you gotta go to work. But anyway, but it's been, I feel like I've got my money's worth already because of what I've been able to get done this week. So it's been good.
Right.
And you feel good.
I do. This was the first week that I went to bed and didn't have a lot of anxious energy. Like the first week in months, actually.
Wow.
So
I love that for you.
Nice. Thank you, because baby been struggling. So thank you.
Okay. So speaking of loving that for you, sometimes the holidays don't give love. Sometimes that's not what's under the tree.
I will not. Nope.
I am killing it. But sometimes we feel like we have to survive the holidays, right? If you're like me, you look forward to the holidays. And now that I'm a mom, like it's just worse. Like you see the nails, every nail got a design that got to do with Christmas. So that I can just go like this to my daughter. Like it's just the small things. And so I have all these black Santa Clauses around the house for her to see, and all it looks like a Hallmark Christmas movie threw up in this bitch. And I love that for myself. And for me, it's important to make sure that I am trying to give Janae the most memories that I can, the happiest memories, so that maybe she can look forward to the holidays herself. And I just remember having a good time. Like my parents didn't have like all the money, but they would give us like little graham crackers that we could make a little, what is it, gingerbread house, and do it themselves, nigga rig it. And I loved it. And so I love the holidays, but I do understand how the holidays can be hard for people. How like maybe you want to give people a lot of stuff and you can't. There's been plenty of years where I'm like, yeah, I got a cute little photo coming. Merry Christmas, broke college student. Like, y'all have to forgive me. I'm just here for the vibe. But being in today's day and age is just capitalism, and just like even now, if you scroll on someone's Instagram feed, there's ads.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't get away from it. Like it's everywhere. And so I can imagine this being a difficult time for people, you know, especially if you're not in the holiday spirit. What are some factors that you think can make someone not be in the holiday spirit, or, you know, feeling the need to survive the holidays?
Mm. It could be their own struggles, right? We have increased depression this time of year. A lot of us aren't getting our vitamin D. Serotonin levels are low. It could be, I know in my case, loss of a family member, moving, separated. I know the holidays after my parents divorced when I was younger, those were hard. Me being the product of two parents that are not together and hopping on a plane around the holidays throughout my childhood, that's hard. Yeah, loss of tradition, maybe just feeling like that just loss of self around this time of year. It's a lot of expectation, right? Buying things for people, having the right thing in mind, showing up for people. Right. Yeah, the expectation to decorate, to be jolly, to like, you know, all that. And then to like wrap up your shit because the new year's coming and you better be better.
Wow, yes. That's a good point. Because it's never like coming from a place of compassion. It's like, oh, I need to stop doing this. I need to just completely change. New year, new me.
Right.
And I need to start tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Right. Exactly. Right. So you can carry it all year. You know what? Just
right.
New Year's Eve. That expectation.
You brought up a good point about it feeling like loss. What do you think of the holidays now, like at your big age?
For me, I have
a lot
more autonomy over what it looks like.
Yeah.
I think for at one point it was, you know, I've said this before. My parents did the absolute best they could with what they had. But you know, my mom says all the time, like, shit, I've instilled in you this work ethic so you can go get the shit you want that you couldn't get before. And so a lot of, for me, Christmas has been almost like a reparenting. Like I'm giving myself an opportunity to have the holiday that I want to have versus being sad that it doesn't look how I thought it would look. So I've used that as an opportunity to just make it what I want it to be. So if I want to decorate the house in these damn red stockings with my initial, my man's initial, and a dog, paw print, okay, I can do that. If I'm deciding where I want to put the like, it just feels like there's so much more control that I have over it, which also allows me to be able to set the expectation and then they're realistic because I can meet them. Versus I think when you're a child, you might have expectations or hopes around what the holiday will look like, and you don't really have a lot of say so over that. So I think it's been really nice just being able to reclaim it for what I want it to be. If I want to be at home, I can be at home. If I want to be in Jamaica, I'll be in Jamaica. If I want to be over here, I'll be over here. If I want to sleep all day, damn it, I can sleep all day. If I want to get a meal catered, I can get it catered. If I feel like eating Waffle House, I'm going to eat Waffle House. Right? Like just being able to do whatever I want to do and leaning into that and knowing like that's completely fine. I can spend it how I want to spend it.
That's beautiful.
I think for me also, I talked a little bit about Bamus, but in 2019. So for me, I'm just like someone that's always trying to like bring people together and just like make memories together, you know, and have our kids have like a community, like, oh, I grew up with them for, you know, however long. And so in 2019, I started Bamus, again, all my friends that I love around. And that first year, we had like so much space. So we were able to do like vision boards, we played games, have food, take shots, like White Elephant. It was what, 2020 roll around. It was COVID Christmas, everyone. I hear everyone had COVID around that time, myself included. So then last year we had Bamus again here, and we had a baby. And so one of our other friends had a kid, and so that was cute. And so I was like, oh, we should just do a baby miss in a Bamus. And so we had like a little gift exchange for the kids, and they were playing around. I got like little ornament making sets, got them like little heads, like antlers or hats and stuff, and took pictures. So it was super cute, you know. And for me, it was like a place for parents, a place for couples, just like a place to gather, have some good food, get a little faded, you know, and just have a good time. And so for me, it's like that's something that I'm going to continue to do. That's a tradition that's going to continue to happen. My parents, my parents even came by, so that was a surprise. And my grandma, I was like, oh hey,
whole generations.
Yes, but it was nice, you know, because they got to see how I like to hang out with my friends, how we like all commune, and you know, I feel like they probably a little bit jealous because they did not have that kind of community themselves. Like they were the only ones that had kids, and so they was like not trying to be out, you know. But for me, it was like bring your kids, like you know. But yeah, it's just about making it how you want it to be, and not like having huge expectations that you feel like you have to meet. Like you were saying, America, you could be at home. You can invite people over. You can go to someone's house. Like whatever feels good to you, do that.
Which I think is what trips people up, because what I've noticed is a lot of people will know what they want to do, but they feel pressured to do something else. So like people will say like, oh, it's the holiday time. Oh, I have to go to my parents' house, or I have to go to this person's house, and I don't want to because they're going to comment on my weight, or they're going to talk about me being single, or they're going to talk about my job, or they're going to do all of this. And like, I go and I feel shitty. Okay, well, you don't have to go. Well, no, yes, I do. Right. I have to because it's my family. And if I don't go, it's going to be a problem and it's going to be conflict. So I think that's the thing. We know what we want to do oftentimes. Right. We know how we rather spend it. We do the opposite to appease other people.
Other people.
That is shit. And we confuse about why.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I always tell my clients, I'm like, this is your life. No one else has to live your life. So it doesn't have to make sense to them. It has to make sense to you. If it feels good to you, do that. As long as it's not hurting other people, obviously. What about you, Jasmine? How you feel about the holidays?
I enjoy this time of year. A lot of it is based around tradition. So my mother's side of the family are not Christian. My mother was raised Muslim, and so growing up, my dad would put me on a plane for Christmas break to Atlanta, and I'd spend Christmas with my mom. So when I was younger, her and my grandma would like make trees for me, because I would just like, if I'm gonna be here for Christmas, we're doing Christmas, damn it. And so one year, my grandma has this candelabra in her home that's made out of the same material the Statue of Liberty is. So it's green because it's so old. And she put candles in it one year and hung ornaments from it. And we put the gifts at the bottom of that. Or one year she took colorful lights and made a trace of a Christmas tree on her window. And that was a Christmas tree one year. And then when I got older, my mom was like, look, there's no Santa Claus. So like, here's some cash. We ain't doing the extra. And so, yeah. So now as an adult, how I want my holidays to look, specifically Christmas, I spend it with my dad's side of the family, which is going to be when my brothers were little, I would bake cookies with them and put them at the fireplace, and we'd write notes to Santa and stuff. And my dad hysterically makes me wrap the gifts every year. It's been that way since I was maybe in middle school. So much so, like, he'll make me wrap my own gifts one year. And then my stepmom talks so much trash about him. So then he stopped making me do that. But I wrap all the gifts. And so that's always been a fun thing when we were a unit. So like my dad, my stepmom, my two little brothers, and I, when we were all in the house together. And then, things change. Like our parents are divorced. So it's two different households. I have my own household. So we used to, when my dad got remarried, we would do trips every other year. It'd be like 3 or 4 generations. We would hop in vans and like drive. We went to Destin, Florida a couple of times. It got a big beach house. And so it's like great aunts, grandma, down to like great grandbaby. And we're all in there cooking and dancing and opening gifts, doing elephant.
Yes.
Very like what Tyler Perry wishes he could write to his Christmas movies. No shots. Yeah, so those types of core memories that we've done now in my adulthood, that's what I want my kids to have. So yeah, and then not opposed, like I'm not opposed to spending it with my mom, but it's just how I want it to look. So yeah, so now New Year's, I'm all for spending it with my mom. You know what I mean? So I would fly to Atlanta like after Christmas. My little brother's birthday is the 26th, so I would leave maybe like the 27th, and then spend the rest of my Christmas break with my mom, New Year's, things like that. So yeah, it all works out. We make do. But I like how you put that, America. Like it's really about, as we grow older, how we want this time of year to look and putting energy into that.
Yeah. And I think that is also applicable to your life, like how do you want your life to look, and then making that happen. But I think people can make it more complicated than that. Mm-hmm. So what are some, we kind of talked about like ways to navigate, but do we have any like coping skills for people that aren't in the space yet to decide that they're not going to their family that they hate house?
Well, what about the family you create? You know what I mean? If that's the case, what are you and your friends doing? Something, somebody, you and your dog.
But some people, so what I've noticed in my work is that some people, families, like guilt them into going to places. Okay. And instead of like saying, no, I'm not going to do that, like they're just like, oh, let me keep the peace, which I understand, which I've done in the past. And so some coping ideas that I give them is like pre and post care. So doing something good for yourself before and then having something good to look forward to afterwards. Maybe coming up with like a sign, like if someone says something too crazy to you, removing yourself and knowing when to remove yourself. And I'll also like role play with them ways to like shut people down respectfully. Because I be doing that on the regular. Oh, you didn't do her hair? I haven't had time to do her hair after getting myself ready, her ready, da 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 da. So if you wanted to be able to do her hair, then we have time for that. But just some like little clapbacks, having them on hand, so that you feel kind of prepared and have some things to go to. Because sometimes people can kind of freeze up when someone says something and maybe go back to like their childhood version of themselves and not say anything. And so I like to try and practice that with people so that they feel confident. And I always remind them, use your voice even if it shakes. Even if you're going to shake the room, stand up for yourself.
Yeah, not minimizing yourself is a big one. Don't feel the need to revert back to that smaller, meeker, for some of us, child version. The kid that's taught to, be seen but not heard. Yeah, we're grown now. Yeah, man, I'm still digesting that because it's been a few years since I've been in that space, but I know how that feels.
Right.
For me, it was detaching and setting boundaries that we've talked about. And then it's just in order to come back and not feel like I need to minimize myself.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the harder thing there, though, is it can feel difficult to not revert back to that child version of yourself, because we're talking about our trauma responses. And so if your innate response in that moment is to freeze or fawn, which is typically what people's are, which is why they kind of are fearful of being around family and certain family members for the holidays, then that's just going to be your that's your innate response. And so also understanding that there might be times when you go into fawn or freeze mode and being gentle with yourself about it, because in that moment, you're just trying to survive the moment. Yeah. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if you know to speak up, it may not happen every single time, and that's okay. It's really about paying attention to those moments.
Right.
And then creating a level of safety within yourself so that you can choose something different. Because I think at one time I used to really maybe not give people a hard time, but I used to be confused about why people weren't setting boundaries with their family. Like it didn't fully make sense to me. And I think with time I've realized that, well, I knew then, but it's evolved even more to understanding that some people just simply don't feel safe within themselves and their body, and they don't feel safe around family. And so, and we take that and we take culturally, especially for us as Black folks, what we learn about family. Family is everything. Honor thy mother and father, for your days will be long. You only got one mama, you only got one daddy. So even if you don't want to be there, you need to do it anyway. And so all of these messages that we've internalized makes it difficult for us to be able to stand up for ourselves, or makes it difficult to set and maintain those boundaries. And so just being gentle with that. Shit, it's a work in progress. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't.
Right. And not beating yourself up on the times that it doesn't.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. But I also think one thing too is remembering that you can't control your family.
You cannot.
You can't control what they do, how they think, how they communicate,
how they react,
like, nothing.
None of it.
Only thing you can control, honestly, is yourself and your response to them. That's it. People typically talk around this time, and it's like this grandiose version of what they wish their family looked like. I wish my family looked like insert this family dynamic, or I wish it looked like the people on Instagram or Facebook or whatever the case may be. And like, of course, you want things to look a certain way, but at some point we got to accept the fact that it doesn't. And we can't control that. But what can we control? What can we do to make ourselves feel safe in that moment and minimize the expectations? I can accept, not be okay with, but accept, not tolerate, but accept the fact that my family looks like this. And that's going to have to be okay. They've been like this 364 days out the year. You think this one day they're going to magically do something different? No. Man, you not either. So really being okay with that and focusing on that so that people can be grounded in the moment and so that you can find some beauty in it, because it's going to be some beauty somewhere. Even if the beauty is you got up and you washed your ass, that's beauty.
Right. And so also knowing that, right? And knowing that every day it can look different. And being okay with that.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. I think the big takeaway, the big theme there would be just be gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even going
That's how you survive life.
Yeah. Straight up. Coping 101.
As quiet as a skip, that's the coping skill you need. The other shit is cute, it's fine and dandy. I'm gonna teach it. But before I do any of that stuff, we're always focusing on self-compassion and grace. Because if you're not gonna do that, the other shit is a waste of time. Life hack, as quiet as it's kept. Self-compassion. Life hack.
That's a loud fact.
Yeah.
Honey, because you could be doing a deep breath and telling yourself, bitch, you better than this. Bitch, you knew you should have did. Like, that's not helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you saying, Jasmine? I feel like I energized it.
Whew, the sermon is real. Going into, so a big thing that's on my mind in the next few weeks is going through a first holiday season without a loved one. And what does living with grief look like around the holidays? So it's one thing to like get over the hurdle of like first birthdays, but Christmas, as I described, is a time of year where like my dad's side of the family, like we get together. So, you know, my aunt, who is always festive, is just, it's the first time she's not in a mood for Christmas, like at all. And I get it. You know, the one thing you want, you can't have. So what does that look like? And the biggest thing that I have read or I've had to remind myself with my own clinical training is just be gentle and just take it day by day, moment by moment, and be present. That's going to be a big thing for me, is being present in it. And that's all I can do. Be gentle with myself, be present, and wash my ass, at least. All right.
And if you can't take a full shower, find you a wet wipe. No, really, like people really like be giving people hell, like depression to make you not take a shower, bitch. Yes, when you depressed, sometimes you don't even want to think about waking up. So getting up and moving through is hard. So if you can't create the space to take a shower, okay, find a body wipe. If you can't do that, find you a baby wipe. If that don't work, find you what's my lady? Get you a honey pot wipe. Whatever it is you need to do so you can brush off real quick and keep it pushing. That's it. We got to really work on adjusting these expectations. We burnt the fuck out. We've been in a some of us have been in a pandemic for 2 years and it has completely...
No. Three. I'm
sorry. Fuck. Some of us have been in a pandemic
2022
for 3 years, which has completely altered our brain chemistry,
time, everything
else. Hell, your eyes, your brain chemistry, everything, your coping mechanism.
Right, honey, because everybody was having happy hours on the Zoom.
Okay. So everything has changed. And so we also got to understand that like this time of year may feel hard because it is hard and we're shouldering a lot of different things. And so that might look like you just got to switch it up and you got to be realistic with where you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And to do that, go back to last episode and get that self-awareness piece up.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
That's my new favorite does.
Period. I did that at my wedding because Joe said something in his vows, and I was like, period. Hey, committed. Okay. Also, honoring your friends as like chosen family, right? Sometimes it's easy to want to retreat and isolate, and sometimes that's cool also. And sometimes we want to be around people, but maybe feel like a burden or whatever the case may be. And so knowing which of your friends are safe, which one of your friends like you would enjoy spending time with, and maybe making some plans with them and changing how you all do the holidays.
I like that. Also, it's hard. I want to acknowledge that if you are a person that self-isolates, I am too, especially when I'm going through my bouts of depression, this time of grief, feeling like if I just opened up all my, especially since I'm not actively in therapy currently, that's on my list of things to do, that I might open up my faucet too much and like dump my shit in someone's lap. And so in the midst of my self-isolation, I'll just like maybe scratch the surface of like how I feel. So be aware that it can be challenging to, I think of depression as a deep hole that you're in. So give yourself grace in the fact that like it takes a lot of effort to crawl out of that hole, even if it's just to like poke your eyes out and be like, hey, I'm in here, you know, I want someone to check on me, to know about it, to help me. So, just knowing that itself is a process, but it's a step worth taking, to where you don't have to be in it alone.
Yeah. I mean, and that reminds me of the tattoo I'm about to get tatted, where from that documentary. What is it called? It's the Triangle of Purpose or something like that, when you are doing something for yourself, something with others, and something for your body. And you know that you can feel a little more energized or better if you connect with your friend, if you on the phone with your friend cracking up, whatever the case may be, right? But depression be like, nah, don't do that. Nah, don't call. We chill right here, And so sometimes it is, well, a lot of times we have to force ourselves to do shit that we don't want to do in the sake of trying to feel better.
Yeah. Connection was a big thing I took away from addictions counseling, that making human connections, getting through your addiction was just, it's something so simple, but like as a species, that's what we need.
Literally.
Yes, connections, make connections, force yourself.
And be clear, depression will tell you that people don't care about you, that you're not good enough to reach out to people, that people don't want to hear what you got going on. People got their own shit going on. And it'll tell you a whole bunch of other lies, because that's how this works. And what we have to be willing to do is, instead of letting that internal voice take over, which is usually what we do because it's easier, if you take a moment and say, okay, wait a second, what is the story that I'm telling myself right now? And is this true? / is it possible that there's other things, other factors involved here? And if we take that extra 10 or so minutes to intentionally challenge this narrative that we have, you're going to reach out to somebody.
You are.
Intentionally challenge that narrative. Ooh.
You have to intentionally challenge all the narratives.
Every single one.
All day.
Because the majority of the shit you're telling yourself all day is a lie anyway. So, yes.
And that's why I have to tell my kids all the time. I'm like, feelings are not facts.
Yeah.
They are valid, but they are not the truth. And so we need to make sure that we understand that as we continue on through this journey, right? We feel the feelings, but we don't stay there.
Yeah.
We have to do something to feel better. Connect with a friend. Get the fuck out and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Do some jumping jacks. Hell. Like, we have to do something. And depression thrives in your desire to do nothing.
It thrives in that isolation too, because then the lies get you. There's nobody there to help interrupt the thoughts.
Right. Then it's just like, how deep can we go? How deep can we go? And then you're just like spiraling.
Yeah.
And that's why the coping skills and all of that are so important. And the self-awareness piece. The check-in piece. Knowing when you are going down that hole.
Yeah.
Because it's way easier to stop it once it's right here, right? But as soon as you way down there, it's a way bigger task.
Yeah. And the importance of seeking out therapy is, as therapists, we're not there to give you advice on dealing with these things. We're giving you those tools to better cope. So if you're listening to this and it's ringing true and you're like, girl, yes, understand that the importance of seeking therapy is your therapist is going to help you, walk with you, guide you through gaining these coping skills. Good therapy will. So it's not about giving you advice. It's about giving you these tools.
America's like, I be advising people not to motherfucking do that.
I won't get me caught the fuck up. I will say, now you know I'm not going to tell you what to do, right?
Right, all the time.
But have you considered?
I would never.
Have you considered?
I can never tell you how to do this. Is your life.
And you got to deal with the consequences. It ain't got shit to do with me.
Right.
But have you considered?
Right.
Insert.
Could it be?
Is it possible?
Is it possible? Because you know it do be possible.
And it's always possible because what are we doing?
And that's my thing. People think being a therapist is so easy. And it's like, actually, I am doing mental gymnastics while you were talking to me so that I can try and figure out what's actually happening here so that I can present it to you so that you can be like, oh, what? Maybe, you know? And it's like,
crazy.
It ain't for everybody.
Therapy is like being in charge of the GPS without having a damn map. And like you gotta use context.
You don't know who you're talking about. Like, you don't know. So that's why I really love when they got the receipts. Man, let me show you I said, show me.
Might be like, girl, let me show you this.
What is that? Let me read my message. I'm listening.
Now, and then what is after that? Ooh, I'm like, ooh, yeah, okay.
I'm like, wait, now can we use names because I'm trying to keep everything right.
Right.
I'm like, I'm never gonna meet him.
Too funny.
Yes. But get you, at the end of the day, get you your own therapist. Period. Like, that's the whole point of the podcast, is so that you can get yourself to a point that you're like, oh, I think I can benefit from therapy. At work, I tell the kids, I'm a therapy pusher, okay? You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. They're like, you're in therapy? Hell yes. You think I'm just out here living my life? No, I'm in therapy crying once a week. What?
I just be out here free balling life.
Exactly. Y'all do it, and more motherfucking power to y'all, bitch. More power.
No,
I want to free ball life. It ain't because of that, but that's a whole different conversation. Never mind. Go ahead.
But yes, if any of this rings true to you, feel free to pull up on a therapy for Black girls, Open Path. Have y'all heard of Open Path? Yeah. Open Path offers lower cost therapy services. And so if you can't afford it, don't have the insurance, like that is the option also.
Loveland Foundation is one too.
Loveland Foundation has the vouchers. Mm-hmm. So pull up on that. Like there are resources out there. Yeah. Unfortunately, like you have to kind of find them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just like scholarships and grants, like there's money out there, you just have to find them. Mm-hmm. And knowing that you are the best project that you can work on. And so you can do that work for yourself. Holiday season. I've been playing my playlist. I'm gonna share it with y'all. It have Gucci Mane Christmas music on there. It has all different Black Christmas music. Giveon, like it got everything on there. I've been playing that nonstop because it's 'tis the season, bitches.
It's the season.
Cheers. No one's gonna join me. Did I tell y'all that my daughter cheers is?
Oh.
And one of my best friends bought her a little sippy cup that is in the form of a wine glass. And so she'd be like, cheers.
Shout out to Janae.
Shout out to baby name. Did we have anything else that we wanted to tell the people about ways to survive the holidays? Let's give them 3 tips.
Yeah, recap it, right? That way it's like,
yeah.
One thing that comes up for me when it comes to experiencing a holiday after a loss is creating the space during that holiday to honor the person.
Yeah.
I think that is really important. I think sometimes we try to act like we're going to ignore this pink elephant in the room. Like we know this person.
Right.
We're going to just suck it up and keep it moving. And it's like, no, create that space so that everybody has an opportunity to feel their feels and you can honor that person, whether that's a toast, if we're going to the grave site, if we're using pictures, if we're just everybody saying a word about the individual, like allow that to be a time of remembrance for them and for yourself. So you don't have to act like it's not a thing.
Yeah. Right. Maybe watching their favorite movie, you know,
my favorite dish.
Right. Oh, and maybe y'all could get like a stocking for them and put like a nice like little note in there, and everyone put a note in there.
Absolutely.
You know, as a way to honor them.
I like that.
I just be thinking of shit. My mind.
Whoa. I can't see you, girl.
Are we doing 3 apiece or 3 total?
If you have another one.
The only other one that comes to mind is, again, focus on what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
We typically think on the outside of it. So if we're doing the circles of control, outside is the things you can't control. Inner things you have some control over. Inside is all the things you can control. We spend a lot of energy on this outside, and that's why we frustrated as fuck all the time. So if we can move those away and focus on what we can control and what we do have autonomy over, and see how that will change your whole shit.
Oh, you did. Yeah. For me, I would also say being honest with yourself and what you can and cannot do. If being with your family triggers the fuck out of you and you have a panic attack and all kind of shit, like it doesn't make sense to go there. And so honoring yourself right, as the person of control in your life and saying, like, no, I choose not to go to that. I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to make plans with my friends. I'm going to go to my friends' families. Like, I'm just going to do something different because I want to feel good. And I want to experience joy, right? As well as always showing yourself that compassion and that grace as you are navigating the holiday season. Maybe last year you were able to, buy everyone everything, and this year is not that. Knowing that it's okay and not being your worst critic would be something that is important.
I like that. I feel attacked, but in a good way. Yeah, y'all hit everything on the head. I would say biggest one for me, being someone that's facing their first holiday in grief, is just setting realistic goals for myself. And a big one for me is showing up and not canceling. So that's, I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm self-isolating. So it's the showing up aspect. And it not being a forced or contrived thing, but just being with people, I tend to feel better. It's just,
the thought of it.
Thought of it. Yeah. So that's I would share that with our listeners too. Give yourself grace. Be grateful for the moment as much as you can, and just show up in it. And try and repeat it the next day.
Yes. Oh, and the pre and post care, doing something good before and after. And then what was one? Oh, establishing like a threshold, right? If you're deciding to spend time with your family and you know that so and so always makes comments about this and so always makes comments about that, like establishing where you feel comfortable, like setting those boundaries with people if you don't necessarily always feel comfortable. If so and so says, wow, you gained weight, setting that boundary. I'm sorry, I didn't consent to my body being a topic of conversation.
Or I'm not here to discuss my weight. Is there something else you would like to talk about?
Huh.
Period. Because stop playing in people's faces. Yeah. Black people, right. People's weight is not a greeting.
It's not a greeting. Especially like, and it always be raggedy people that like, if I say something to you, it's a problem. So how about we all mind the business that pays us?
Right. All they're doing is just projecting.
Ooh, they let it project.
Yeah.
And so checking in with yourself, right? And knowing how much of this is your shit versus someone else's shit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be taking other people's shit with you.
We got enough wrong.
One more. And affirming yourself in those moments. So not allowing the comments that they make to take over your inner dialogue. So
that part.
Auntie whoever, because it's always somebody I noticed.
Auntie, it is.
Auntie whoever made these comments about my weight, and that's cool, but what I know to be true is X, Y, and Z. And I'm okay with A, B, and C, and I'm working on elemental P. Whatever that is, like creating a self-affirming statement so that you're able to ground yourself in what you know to be true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I hope that this is a very gentle. Nope, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would like to do something as we exit, but I'll let you close first.
No.
Perfect. You close first, and then I'm going to press what I want to press.
Come on, teamwork. So I hope that you have a very gentle holiday season. However you see fit to experience it, make sure that you do it to the best of your capability. Don't listen to that outside. Don't listen to Instagram ads, other people's matching pajamas. Like, just Do what makes sense to you. Okay. And take good care of yourself. Don't work too hard.
Clock out.
Close your laptop. Take your email off your phone.
Do not disturb.
I did do that though. I was so proud of that. Okay.
Good. Proud of you.
Yeah.
Use your automatic replies and don't turn them off.
That's the key. Don't turn them off.
And as always, know that you can, I don't know, drink a kale drink during the holiday season and do Pilates and drink 2 gallons of water. But if you're ignoring the things going on in your head and in your heart, then you're still not truly healthy. So go ahead and seek therapy.
Ding.
We're having a little. Jasmine,
I was waiting for it to come.
Holiday season.
Middle of the winter, I pull up in a vert. It's the middle of December, she pulled up in a Santa Claus.
Oh man.
Yeah, we got to get together. We got to get together. Period.
That's the best Christmas song ever. Period. Okay.
It is.
He's sitting on Mariah. He's sitting on everybody. That's the one.
Okay, but do you got Big Frida?
No.
I'm about to send it to you.
Okay, get me together.
So you could twerk.
Okay.
And your throwback skirt.
Woo, this hood rat is popping out, baby. Okay, let me put it back.
Y'all be great, okay? However that looks to you. Correct. And we will see y'all soon. Bye.
Stop. That's the old 2000s. That's the 2000s. That's okay. I was been kept bouncing the first time.